I'm Courtney, and last week I was in a tattoo shop getting yet another tattoo, and as my tattoo artist is tattooing me, I'm looking around and I see a license that looks similar to this from the Kansas Board of Cosmetology. And it got me to thinking, like, I could understand how tattoos are cosmetic. I certainly like them, but why would a tattoo artist, or a tattoo shop for that matter, have to get a license like this? So it caused me to think, so how does one become a tattoo artist? So I did some research, and they have to pass extensive testing and training in order to get licensed to do tattoos, which is great. That means that when you get tattooed by a licensed artist, they have been trained in safety, sanitation, all of those things, so you don't have to worry so much about getting an infection or worrying that your tattoo isn't going to be up to par. So, where does one start? Well, it starts with art. Any tattoo artist that you know started one day drawing sketches, doing paintings, and generally just enjoying creating art every day. These images are by two tattoo artists here in Topeka, Buck Rice and Jennifer Bolander. They are both tattoo artists that I admire, and this is where it started for them. It started when they were a child, doing art, creating amazing images like this. Then they went on to study art a little more in school. They would always be the ones in the art classes that I would avoid like the plague, but they enjoyed that. That's what they loved. Then they began practicing their art over and over again, which for an artist is just like breathing. So, how does one then take art like this and move it into tattooing? Well, that decision has to be made by that individual. And once they make that decision, then what happens? Well, then they have to abide by the Kansas state regulations, statutes, rules, and regulations for the Board of Cosmetology. Now, there are two different ways that a tattoo artist can become a tattoo artist. There's two different trainings that they can go through. The first one would be going through an approved school. Now, to be approved by the board, by this board, to get that license, a tattoo artist training program shall include 600 hours of theory and practical experience that include 50 completed pieces. 600 hours, that's a long time, and that's if you go to an approved school. Now, I did a little bit of research and just a random Google search. I could not find an approved school or college that teaches you how to tattoo. Most of the time, every tattoo artist that you run into is actually going to be one that came from an apprenticeship. Now, with an apprenticeship, by these guidelines, to be approved by the board, a tattoo artist training program shall include 1,200 hours of theory and practical experience that include 50 completed pieces. So, 600 hours or 1,200 hours, either way, they're spending a lot of time going through their training to get to the point to where they can test for their license. Now, after training comes the testing part. In order to take the test, it's a $75 fee for each part, and there's two different parts, so it's $150 to even test to be licensed in the state of Kansas. The first part is a written test, and it consists of 150 questions. Now, those questions are on the basic principles of safety, sanitation, and sterilization, chemical usage and storage, which makes sense if they're using sanitizing chemicals on your skin to get rid of bacteria. You don't want that stored next to something else that if it mixed, it would cause damage. So they have to be trained on that. Also, they have to be trained on, or they're tested then, on diseases and disorders, including skin disease, HIV, hepatitis B, or infectious or contagious diseases, because they are actually puncturing your skin and you will bleed. So they have to be trained and tested in those areas to ensure that that does not spread. They are then also tested on equipment, supplies, tools, and implements, regular practice standards and establishment standards, as well as all of the rules and regulations included in this book right here. They have to achieve a 75% on the written part and on the practical part. So on the written part, they have to take a written multiple choice test that includes 150 questions. They have to get this done within 2 hours. I did a little math crunching on this, and that equates to 48 seconds per question. So if you get stuck on a question, you just got to move on and come back to it. 48 seconds is not a very long time. Then the second part of the test that they have to complete is a practical test. So what they have to do is they have to set up their station, ensuring that it's clean, sterilized, and safe, do a mock presentation on doing a tattoo, then they have to tear down that workstation and sterilize it again so that they can prove to the licensing committee that they are competent and can do this. So, in conclusion, becoming a tattoo artist, you can't just wake up one day and decide that that's what you want to do, not in the state of Kansas, which is beneficial to all of us. That way we know that when we get our tattoos that we are safe and we aren't going to get sick or hurt from these tattoos. Tattooing starts as a love for art, but takes an extreme dedication and desire to become a tattoo artist. If you want to become a tattoo artist in the state of Kansas, this book right here is available online, and I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.